Hello, everybody. Welcome to February's Melanated Mondays. The theme of this month's show is Black Futures. A little bit about BRTW. BRTW exists to disrupt any and all oppressive systems that marginalize Black people using narrative and performance as a methodology to recenter Black people in their experiences. With economic, social, educational, healthcare, housing, and political injustice facing our community, BRTW aims to tackle the issues that impact us while becoming a beacon for Black opportunity within the arts. Melanated Mondays, a little bit about this series. We are a monthly writing and performance salon that highlights a different theme at the intersection of Black justice and civic engagement. Like I said, this month's theme is Black Futures. So the performances we have today are, we have Green Zone Upgrade by H. Harvey. I Just Took a DNA Test, Turns Out by myself, Miyako Gavia, and If I Got Reparations by myself, Miyako Gavia. My co-host today is going to be Tim Craig. Tim, is there anything you'd like to say before we get started?
Yes, of course. I want to take this moment to thank our lovely cast and crew that we have here. Today, we are featuring Angelique Dina, Jasmine Boone, Dekai McCalla, Melvin Cox, and Donnell Cole Price. So you want to take a moment to say thank you for your time and being here to help us with these lovely scenes.
Okay. So with that, we're going to get started with Green Zone Upgrade. Take it away, Delay.
Green Zone Upgrade by H. Harvey. Setting, Brooklyn, not too far from now, when the perils of climate change have enabled environmental ghettoization and the preservation of gentrified neighborhoods through the technological marvel of green zoning. Leroy, a former construction worker who's become the face of the Green Zone heroes, but is yet to reap any of the benefits of his newfound fame. Read by Donnell Cole Price. Cass, an executive at health and wellness conglomerate with deep political ties, read by Jasmine Boone. Doctor, read by Angelique Dina. Security guard, read by Melvin Cox. PAs, read by Daki Mikolo. Establishing shot, exterior, day, an ultra-modern hospital, Prospect Park visible beyond, and further, nearer than the horizon, a shimmering green zone encompassing an entire Brooklyn neighborhood. Cut to a digital billboard showing a smiling Black construction worker with dreadlocks giving the thumbs up beside a white man in a suit. A scroll reads, "A vote for Mayor Reynolds is a vote for Green Zone heroes." Zoom in through a window. Leroy Yateman, the Black construction worker from the billboard, fidgets in a paper hospital gown atop an examination table.
The doctor is experiencing longer than usual wait times. Thank you for your patience.
The man examines his surroundings. His eyes land on an eyesight testing board.
The quick brown flocks jumped over the lazy dog.
The door opens.
Good. You're already getting started on the pangram.
Yeah.
You're the guy from the billboard, right? The Green Zone hero?
I mean, I work construction.
Yeah. But I'd be humble too if I had one of the most famous faces in Brooklyn. I'm a major Reynolds supporter. My whole family is. I mean, the Heroes campaign, you deserve to be right here. We believe that.
Yeah, me too.
You live around here?
No, Flatbush. I applied, but since I'm unemployed,
Oh.
that's why I'm here, actually. I can't work because of my condition. A lot of us are sick and we can't.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's why we're holding a fundraiser for the Reynolds this weekend.
Yeah, funny, it seemed like we had enough money when I met him.
Aphasia, right?
You tell me.
The doctor reviews Leroy's chart.
Possible conduction aphasia.
I guess he told me, huh?
Due to a stroke resulting in moderate neurological trauma.
Moderate? I have a permanent.
Semi-permanent.
What?
You don't need a doctor.
Here we go.
Even first-gen biotech could clear this right up.
Yeah, that's my insurance said. That's what my insurance said. But we have something that you could.
Look, Mr. Yateman, I know you're uncomfortable, but you're a lucky man. 10, 20 years ago, we could poke around, stick you in an MRI, and ship you off to rehab, but it'd only be a matter of time. Now, you just get yourself some biotech.
But
Like I said, you're a lucky man. You know how much it would cost anyone else to come see me about an issue that can get fixed at Best Buy?
Cut to outside the clinic. He walks away with difficulty and noticeable pain. Cut to the inside of a pod-style hotel.
Welcome to Z Green. Are you interested in accommodation?
yeah, for the night.
Are you a current Green Zone resident?
No, but I have a permit to be inside the green zone.
What is the nature of your visit?
Medical?
Please, place your hand here.
Leroy places his hand on the scanner.
Leroy Yateman, you're not cleared for the Green Zone accommodation. Please vacate the Green Zone before sundown.
Are you serious? I have an appointment at 8 in the morning.
Please vacate the Green Zone before sundown.
Before sundown? Yeah.
Thank you for choosing Z Green.
Cut to Leroy exiting the green zone. The security guard lazily waves him through. Leroy straps on a paper mask. Cut to early in the next morning. Leroy, outside of the green zone, stands in a long, slow-moving line. A guard stops him.
We're going to have to check your hair, sir. Now, is there anything in there that could stick me?
Cut to a pristine office building. Leroy rushes inside.
I have an appointment.
Please place your hand here.
Leroy places his hand on the scanner.
You are 480 seconds late. After 120 seconds, Consumer Health Industries reserves the right to refuse service. You have been allotted a one-time waiver for late arrival. Do not expect this courtesy again. Please follow the green arrows.
He follows a trail of flashing green arrows to a door. He knocks.
Come in. You must be Mr. Leroy Yateman. I've got to say, it's an honor. It's not every day that I meet a real-life Green Zone hero. Consumer Health Industries deeply appreciates your service. I hope to hear that we've been able to help you along the road to recovery.
Not unless you'll pay for my biotech.
We're happy to approve any medical treatment your doctors recommend. But as you've been notified in response to your previous requests, biotech is a consumer good.
That I need for medical treatment.
That distinction is a few notches above my pay grade, but CHAI's policy is simple. You aren't prescribed biotech, you purchase it. Therefore, it's out of our wheelhouse. Personally, I'd like nothing more than to see you happy and healthy. Guys like you are the reason why we get to live in a cleaner, safer America. If you ask me, the Green Zone workers deserve a medal.
I don't need a medal. I just want some relief to breathe. I'm practically chewing in the air in my neighborhood.
Oh, did you apply to get in? It's my understanding that surviving Green Zone crew members' applications are weighted for approval.
3 times. I always get the interview and they always turn me down.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's
Your fault. I can't get in because I can't work. I can't work because you won't cover my treatment.
Well, that brings up the subject of today's meeting. Consumer Health Industry cares about your health, Mr. Yateman. Do you?
I'm here, aren't I?
At least 10 doctors have recommended that you purchase neurobiotech. Our internal review shows that even first-gen tech would reverse the effects of your stroke.
I can't afford 5,000 tech.
Well, it's cheaper than legal proceedings.
What?
It's our understanding that if you made a reasonable investment in your own health wellness, you wouldn't suffer from these nuisances. After all, you're a capable adult, Mr. Yateman. If your doctor recommended more iron-rich food, we expect you to comply. And 10 doctors have recommended neurobiotech.
I can't afford that, but I've been
Seeking very limited and expensive medical attention for a preventable, non-medical nuisance. Consumer Health Industries is therefore at liberty to seek restitution.
restitution. You want my money.
You've taken advantage of several thousands of dollars worth of our services for free. However, if you're willing to settle this discreetly, we'd be happy to settle for something in the range of $17,000.
I don't have that. I can't pay that.
If you must handle this in court, I should warn you that the insurance fraud would void your city benefits, including the weighted acceptance to the green zone, free health services, disability, social security benefits.
Leroy
Mr.
sways
Yateman.
on his feet. Cass ushers him to sit down.
Mr. Yateman, come. Sit down. Listen. I meant what I said about you guys. You're heroes. And the city can't thank you enough. I wish I could write you a blank check, but I can make a recommendation. Are you familiar with off-label biotech?
Cut to Leroy exiting the green zone. He straps on a paper mask and turns down a different path than before.
There's a whole black market for it.
Isn't that stuff illegal?
Leroy approaches the seedy shop with neon lights.
For now. But what's your alternative? I've seen your scans. Your condition is progressive. Your motor skills, speech, they'll continue to degrade.
Leroy enters the shop. A reception bot gears up, but the projection fades. We only hear its glitching voice.
Welcome. How may I help you?
I need biotech.
We have discounted, unboxed IO buy, starting at $4,500.
Cut to Cass with Leroy. She touches his arm.
You will die trapped inside your own deteriorating body. No hero deserves a fate like that.
Cut to Leroy inside the biotech chop shop.
I'm looking for something more like off menu.
Of course. Wait. Here.
Cut to Leroy at home in a cramped Brooklyn apartment. He holds a syringe over his arm. Cut to Leroy sitting across from Cass.
Just think it over. See me next week. If I can show these suits that you're invested in your health, you can save your money and we can avoid the PR nightmare of dragging a green zone hero to the courts. Can I pencil you in for the same time next week? Great. And just think, what a small price to feel better, especially if you're feeling better in the green zone.
Cut to Leroy in his apartment, still holding the syringe over his arm. He looks out of his window and we can see the sun rising over a transparent green dome over Prospect Park before its rays reach the streets outside his window. He inserts the needle into his arm. Cut to Cass at a conference table, surrounded by suits.
There's an elephant in the room. Green zone heroes. They labored in toxic conditions to build pristine, pollution-free paradises they can't even live in. The least we can do is pay the cost of their healthcare, right?
Cut to Leroy waking up. He flexes his left arm and begins to walk around his apartment. He smiles.
A little PT here, some inhalers there, right? Wrong. Strokes, heart attacks, organ failures. Roughly 35,000 out of work, quote unquote, heroes are killing our bottom line. So what do? Suck it up? Lay off some staff?
Leroy rushes to his table and grabs a bundle of papers. Their applications to live in the green zone.
No.
Cut to Cass at a conference table. She clicks a button and a slide presentation shows a chart.
More than 60% of the surviving Green Zone construction crew have persistent, untreated neurological trauma that is now solely addressed through expensive consumer technology. These people are deteriorating inside their own bodies and are turning to black market biotech for relief or cure. I'd like to introduce you all to Biodentify. This will allow us to scan for unregistered biotech at checkpoints throughout the city. Not only are customers in possession of black market tech breaking the law, they owe us restitution for theft of our intellectual property and violation of our contract.
Cut to Leroy staring at a beautiful building advertising vacancies inside the Green Zone. He smiles, goes inside, passing by a television screen. Camera zooms in on the screen, revealing Cass at a press conference, shaking the mayor's hand.
The scourge of illegal biotech is responsible for erratic, uncontrollable behavioral anomalies that can reduce any New Yorker to a criminal, subject to their darkest, most depraved whims. More than half of people arrested in the past year were found to be in possession of illegal biotech. Half of the killers, drug dealers, thieves undermining our beautiful communities. And you have to wonder, what could these people have been without something so dangerous warping their minds? And how many are right under our noses, in our communities, teaching our children? As a mother, as a neighbor, as a lifelong Brooklynite, I am proud to stand today and say no to dangerous illegal biotech in my community. And I am thrilled to make this donation on behalf of consumer health industries to the city of New York. Every hospital, municipal building, and police officer will be outfitted with Biodentify technology. And more than $50 million of the life-saving innovation will ensure that our beautiful, resilient community is safer, healthier, and happier.
End of episode.
Wow, thank you so much to everybody for your hard work on this scene. So our next piece that we're going to do is I just took a DNA test, turns out. So with that, D-Way, take it away again.
I just took a DNA test, turns out, by Mia Gogavia. Voice, Jasmine Boone. Woman, Angelique Dina. Ancestor 1, Danelle Cole Price. Ancestor 2, Melvin Cox. Ancestor 3, Daki Mikolo. A woman walks into a small booth, sits, and inserts a token.
Welcome to the mobile DNA testing medium, sponsored by JP Morgan. This kiosk is designed to provide the world's most comprehensive DNA analysis of health and heritage. Before proceeding, please listen to the following terms of service. Then, if you agree, please say accept.
Accept.
Please listen to the following terms of service. Then, if you agree, please say accept.
Accept.
Please listen to the following terms of service. Then, if you agree, please say accept.
Oh, fine.
The mobile DNA testing medium, sponsored by JP Morgan, is a free service. Our automated systems analyze your deoxyribonucleic content to provide you personally relevant product features such as genealogy, detection of genetic defects, customized search results, and tailored advertising. This analysis occurs as the content is sent, received, and when it is stored.
Fast forward.
You grant JP Morgan and DNA testing medium INC, the hereafter known as DTMI, a non-exclusive, irrevocable, worldwide, perpetual, unlimited, assignable, sub-licensable, fully paid off, and royalty-free rights to us to copy, prepare derivative works of, improve, distribute, publish, remove, retain, add, process, analyze, use, and commercialize in any way now known or in the future discovered any information you provide directly to or indirectly to DTMI, including but not limited to any generated content, ideas, concepts, techniques, and or data to the services you submit to DTMI without any further consent, notice, and or compensation to you or any third parties.
Yes. Okay, whatever. Accept.
You have accepted our terms of service. Now prepare for your DNA extraction. Please open your mouth and say ah.
Woman opens her mouth and voice produces a giant cotton swab, bends over and cheerily pantomimes swabbing the inside of woman's mouth 3 times.
Thank you. Your DNA results will be ready momentarily. Your DNA analysis results are ready. Which would you like to hear first? Please say health for a detailed breakdown of your genetic health information, including comorbidities. Say reproduction for information about the potential traits you pass to your offspring. Say heritage for genealogical breakdown, including ethnography, potential information on current DNA relatives, and our new relative medium feature.
Heritage.
You have chosen heritage. Here is your comprehensive ethnic breakdown. Your results are 32% Iberian, 24% Anglo-Saxon, 30% Irish, 10% Norwegian, 2% Native American.
Oh, I told them great-great-grandma was Navajo.
And 2% Sub-Saharan African.
What?
Would you like to speak to any of the ancestors from your genealogical history? Via our new DNA database feature, we can now create a virtual replica of any known progenitors or your most genetically prominent family member from each ancestral subgroup. Please pick up the receiver in front of you and state your preference now.
Native American.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
No, Native American.
You said Norwegian. Conjuring.
dial tone
No,
is heard.
Native American.
You said Native American. Conjuring.
Sound, a strange wiring and clicking, then a dial tone.
I'm sorry, the ancestor you are trying to reach is busy or unavailable. Playing genetic voicemail.
Hey, it's busy. If you're dialing this, you're either a direct descendant, in which that case you can contact me either way, you know how, or you're a colonizer with a dream catcher tattoo who wants to ask me about your spirit guide. In which case, you can fuck right off. Toodles.
Your ancestor has disconnected. Would you like to dial again or contact a different ancestor?
Yeah. Give me the black one.
You have selected Sub-Saharan African. Conjuring.
Well, I guess being part black is cool.
Hello?
Hello? Who is this?
You called me. Who is this?
It's your descendant. I guess like your great-great-great-granddaughter.
Oh, word?
Yeah. Word. How's it going?
Fine. I mean, I'm dead, so no complaints. You sound different than I imagined my descendants to be. What is the future like anyway? Did y'all get back to Angola?
What?
You don't know your own history? The Portuguese shoved my granddaddy onto a slave ship and transported him to an entirely different country. We had to work on some fucking cotton fields. Grandma was a fucking astrologer. She didn't know shit about farming no crops. Would have had a baby smooth hands, but those crackers made her rip them right up doing field work. Those pasty ass, no lip having ass, stinking oily hair having ass.
I don't.
She holds her hand over the receiver.
What is happening? Why are my ancestors so mean?
The opinions and language of your virtual ancestor conjuration are theirs and theirs alone. DTMI is not responsible for any results.
Wow. Wow.
She uncovers their
Rapey ass, don't wash their damn booty hole ass. So lazy they had to import people to wipe their booty hole ass motherfuckers. Anyway, yeah, I was in Angola.
So I have some good news and some bad news.
Shit. We didn't make it back? We did, or did we?
No. But on the bright side, your descendants are white now.
What?
Yes, I'm white. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, or at least I thought I was, but I guess I'm part black now, which is pretty cool because now I can say the N-word and stuff. And
Are you fucking kidding me?
no, well, I can say it, right?
No, you can't fucking say it. Do you not hear the spiel I just gave about what your colonizing ass ancestors did to me?
First of all, I'm part Native American. I'll have you know. So I can hardly be classified as.
Do you know the ass I had to kiss just to stay alive? The awful things we had to do? How the fuck do you think you got to be white anyway?
A passionate, forbidden, interracial love affair?
I bet cousin Keith doesn't have to deal with this shit. He ran off with his wife as soon as he could. Come with us, cousin. It'll be great, cousin. Did I listen? Did I do the smart thing? Read a fucking book before you come talk to me. Fucking colonizer.
He hangs up, dial tone. Phone rings again.
And no.
Hello?
And no, you can't use the N word. Everybody wants to be a nigga.
He hangs up again.
Wow. Rude much? Hey, DNA Booth, can I talk to some relatives? I can talk to some relatives I know, right?
Correct. However, conversations with living ancestors may not be accurate.
That's fine. I'd like to talk to my grandpa, Steve. He died before I was born, so I never met him.
Please hold.
What's
Dial
up,
tone.
My nigga, what's up?
Hello,
My nigga.
it's Stephen J. Josephson, aka your boy the Zodiac.
Woman slams down the receiver. End of play.
Thank you so much. That was I just took a DNA test. Turns out by Miyako Gavia. The cast of that was The Voice by Jasmine Boone, Woman by Angelique Dina. Ancestor 1 is Donnell Cole Price. Ancestor 2, Melvin Cox, and Ancestor 3 by Dekai McCullough. And the stage directions read by Niue Augustine Blade. We thank them so very much. All right, to the next. We have If I Got Reparations by Miyako Gavia, performed by Jasmine Boone.
If I got reparations, I would want to be a Gorgon with divine flashing eyes and hair like snakes. What would it feel like to live a life without fear? Would it feel free? Easy? Like breathing your first clean breath after a chest cold? Like stepping out of a walk-in freezer? Like remembering the haunted house is fake? You know what I want? I want every time someone says shit to me to be able to set my snake hair to hissing, low and gentle. And instead of feeling small and hollow and scared, I'd get that cozy feeling of sitting on the couch after drinking coffee. A cat on my lap, purring into me, his lazy eyes blink, blink, blinking. And I want every time someone starts shit with my friends to be able to flap my giant wings and disturb the air around me as I fly to them. Fuck your cash. We don't need cash. I'm a motherfucking Gorgon, bitch. And then when I reach them, I want to flash my Gorgon eyes and strain my Gorgon lips and smile my Gorgon smile and turn them all to stone. I want them to have to sit there and listen to each and every moment of pain my ancestor and I had to listen to and not look away. I want each speck of dust to land in their unblinking eyes and make them water and sting. Maybe that will feel like every time I had to freeze my smile in the face of strangers talking about my hair, my skin, my lips, my ass, like I was a thing to be weighed and measured. The man who spoke in broken Spanish and called me Maria without knowing my name or language. The woman who asked me the time of my last pap smear, and the man who slipped in close behind me and pressed a cold beer can to the slip of exposed flesh at the small of my back. I want to force them all to look, to witness, to hurt. Then, and only then, can the real work begin.
Thank you so much for that, Jasmine. And now we're going to go with we're going to welcome our speaker, Ivy Nicole-Jonét. And so for any of our wonderful actors, hello, meet D-Way. D-Way was doing all of the stage directions. So for all of our wonderful actors, if you'd like to turn your camera on and wave for everybody, and then if you would like to stay for this conversation and participate, we welcome you. If not, then you're free to leave the Zoom room whenever you like, and we will see you all next time. Okie dokie. So we're going to get into our community conversations with Ivy. Ivy Nicole-Jonét was born and raised in Southeast Washington, D.C. Ivy has firsthand experience in the ways gentrification profoundly disrupts, disregards, and dishevels Black communities. This experience inspired her to delve into documentary filming and animation as a medium for expression, preservation, and documentation. Using augmented and virtual reality, animation, and mining archival footage from Black media, Ivy's current works create an Afrofuturistic world centered on an immersive documentary experience that celebrates Black women and explores Black womanhood. Black women have been creating and molding with the Afrofuture in mind, consciously or subconsciously. Creatively, Ivy seeks to honor the history of Black and while challenging societal assumptions and presumptions. Welcome, Ivy. We're so glad to have you here. If there's anything I have missed in my introduction or anything you'd like to add, please. Nope, you're good? Okay.
It was
all right.
perfect. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. Thank you. I love your earrings, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, I'll get started, and then Tim and I will kind of ping pong questions back and forth. So our first question is, your work, especially in AR and VR, utilizes historical archives in the creation of your digital worlds. What made you lean to that use of archive in your work, and how much does a past and present?
All right. My internet went out for a moment. Can you all hear me?
That's okay. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So for me, using the archives seemed natural to me.
Oh, sorry. Hold on one second. Sorry, it froze, so I have to repeat the question for our audience. Sorry about that. Okay, so the question was, again, your work, especially in AR and VR, utilizes historical archives in the creations of your digital worlds. What made you lean into that use of archive in your work, and how much does the past and present inform the world building in your art?
For me, using the archive seemed natural to me. Thinking back to my grandmother's photo albums and the photos that would hang up on the walls is all part of an archive. So the albums stored in basements, under the boxes, underneath the couches with the plastic that's unwrapping by now. All of this, is a source of documentation. And my grandmother and ancestors and Black and Brown folk, we are naturally been documenting our lives and like creating archives pretty much, down to the Polaroid from the local CVS and pharmacy before then. And calling them and honoring them into the present, I build digital worlds based around that archive. It shows the connection that the archive and documentation is calling upon the past and calling upon my ancestors and the things that they have touched and the things that they took pictures of and the things that they were engaging with in their experiences. Me honoring them and calling them to is a form of being in the present. And then me building immersive digital worlds pretty much is calling upon the future. It creates this reality where Black folk can transcend time and space, and AR and VR is only a couple of tools that I use in creating such a reality.
That's pretty cool. Great. Tim, did you want to do the next question?
Yes, of course. Ivy, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you and your time. I'm Tim, and again, thank you for gracing us with your presence. I guess you so eloquently put your intention in the first question. I guess our second question is would be, for your installations to your documentary work, you center healing and ritual. What draws you to those themes, and how do you allow them to transcend space? How do you allow them to transcend space and time?
As a Black queer woman who is still trying to find like my own inner healing and peace, but also coming to terms with like generational trauma and pain, I realized this is something I can't do alone. I need like the guidance of like my community, but also my ancestors in doing so. And so for my art, I try to call on my community for healing and Afro nostalgia for memories. My great grandmother was like a natural herbalist, and we would talk for hours in her garden. Tending to her garden, it was like a ritual for my grandmother. And like, I didn't know it then as a child, but she was teaching me and passing things down from her generation before, things that my family knew in terms of like herbs. And as I got older, it became something that is like a ritual for me to do also, tending to my garden and just talking to people through so. And like, it connects me to her, but also like, help me heal as well through just like using my hands and like tending to herbs and flowers and such. So like living in this world, we are faced with like binaries and restrictions on our bodies, on our identity, and our history is all being attacked currently. And so for me and my installations, I try to encompass the many identities that have been excluded. That includes in my writing, spelling women with an X, to include identities that have been excluded out of English binary language. And in my installation, I call upon my great grandmother. So I use roses, chamomile, lavender, and ivy to call on my grandmother, but also like bring her presence into the space and also bring in that ritual work that she also did. So like the lavender, it was used like in my space, I use lavender is used as a ward of like calming the energy, roses to bring love, courage and beauty, and chamomile for protection and meditation. And a lot of my work, my installations is a space mentally, physically, emotionally, a safe space for Black women. So we can explore, just explore ourselves, but also just exist at the same time. There's not like our ancestors have worked so hard for rest. And so I just want to like in my art and my installations create a space for us to like rest and also exist, engage in like dialogue and just prioritize a space being safe for Black women and recognizing that like Black folk, we live in like a non-linear timeline. I'm always trying to call our existence as Black folk, we are always calling the past the present and the future all at once through our speech, through our cooking, through our storytelling, through our style, through our words and memories. And so a lot of my art is trying to invoke all these emotions and showcase that like we exist as multidimensional beings. I build installations pretty much to like where the digital and the physical blur together so we can exist as like these non-dimensional beings that we are.
I keep muting myself and then not. Thank you so much for that. That's really fascinating. I wish I could see your work in person, and maybe I will someday.
Yes.
And so, my next question is, what is the power in surreal representations of ourselves, our communities, and our realities? You've touched on this a little bit in your in your previous question, in your previous answer, but is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I feel like the conception of like the surreal representation for me is like, it showcases we are able to exist in a multitude of timelines, a multitude of spaces, beyond the physical and metaphysical, beyond the confined and what we have individually imagined, what society to told us that we can imagine for our Black bodies. And so our ancestors have been like modeling the Afrofuture since before colonization, and expressing ourselves, communities, and realities as surreal. It only honors how we are multidimensional at the end of the day, and honor our ancestors as well. While the term like Afrofuture wasn't like officially popularized until the 1970s and again in the 1990s, we have again molding and creating art and that blurs realities and fictions, the 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. I'm trying to create a space where we can continue to explore, we can continue to like engage in dialogue, observe, but ultimately exist without the white gaze, without being threatened by the white gaze, and without us like compromising ourselves to the white gaze. So with surreal representations, it only opens doors and ideas of what the future can look like, but also mold the present because it represents, it's the representations and of the reflections of what we are currently experiencing as a collective.
Awesome. So the next question I'd like to open to everybody in the group so that everybody can chime in. Yeah, so I want to know from all of y'all, would you say that your conception of the future is utopian, dystopian, or is it purely an extrapolation of where we are now? And how much do these categories matter in the imagining of the future? So Ivy, if you could go first, and then if anybody else wants to chime in, you're welcome to.
When I originally heard that question, I was like, automatically went to Afrofuturism and Afro-pessimism, where the Afrofuture is that of like, I can like associate with utopia, and then like Afro-pessimism associate with like dystopian, but like for me, like my own experience, I feel like my art is like an ever-changing exploration of the past and now, but also where it could be. And imagining the Afrofuture, I'm constantly trying to like honor the past, but also those that have like been on the front lines consciously or subconsciously of more the present moment, but also highly aware of like the society and world we are living in, where our bodies and existence is viewed as threat, is also under constant threat. And so like while my art is a safe space for existing, is also like a reflection of like being a Black queer woman in society. And then like, yeah, then just think about the Afro-pessimism is just like a reality of like the present moment, which let us know that like, there is hope in future. Like there's hope for the future where reform cannot be like synonymous with, or like with reconstruction. Reform must be synonymous with abolishing systems which were not in support of Black women or Black womanhood or Black beings, Black bodies. And so for me, I say like the future is like a mixture of all these things where we are very much aware of how society is molded against Black people, but also at the same time honoring the fact that like our ancestors have been molding for the Afrofuture to come into fruition. Like while we are living in their imagined Afrofuture, we continue to build that for the future as well. So it's like a mixture of all these things coming into play that also like adds to the layers of being just Black folk and adds to the layers of us being like multidimensional and these like we can be beings and human and how we just exist all across timelines and dimensions. That was long.
No, that was great. That was great. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, my conception of the future is really because I can't the way the future looks to me personally right now is very dystopian. So when I try to write or project into the future, I try to inject it with a sense of playfulness. No matter what I'm doing. Like I like to imagine like even if there is a dystopia, you know, there's like a bar at the end of the world where people are partying. Like something like find some sort of bright spot in the darkness because human beings are always going to find a way to have joy while they're living. So yeah, if anybody else wants to chime in with their conception, yeah, Donnell. Oh, you're muted.
A combination of all three, honestly. Yeah, we're like living like hyper tech world, so I think that's going to continue to live on with us. So that would be like today, along with some things that you just touched on, Miyako, and Utopia. I think it's just what we could kind of see a little bit of all of them.
Yeah, I have to agree with Donnell. I feel like I struggle to see the world as this like utopia in the future, more so just because I believe that it will be existing alongside something that is kind of dystopian, because I feel like there are many people even within the Black community who want to hold on to the current dystopia that I feel like we're living in, and it might be hard to kind of shake that, but I really want to uplift what Ivy was saying about living in the imagination of our ancestors. And I feel like they learned so much from them. They learned so much from us as much as we learned from them, if not more. And so I think we can be in community with our ancestors and be in dialogue to learn from those like Indigenous practices in order to move forward to a more utopian society, even if it is gated may not be the right way to put it, but I feel like there may have to be some barriers because I do think there are going to be people trying to destroy it. And so we will have to protect our utopia like continually.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You go ahead, brother. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, it honestly just depends. I mean, it's hard systems to break down, but we have to, just keep trying to break those barriers, and we have to just continue to gain knowledge. Knowledge is power. Gain power. Power is power is power, and yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't all depend on us, but it does at the same time. Like, we have to continue to be resilient and continue to fight for a utopia.
I agree with everyone. I definitely do. And I'm definitely, first of all, Ivy, thank you as well for, just elaborating on everything that you've been working on and what you stand for. I love what you said as well when you said creating away from the white gaze. And I think that's very important that, because honestly, I feel like we already live in a dystopia and a utopia already. You know what I'm saying? We definitely do. And I think in the future, I feel like it's definitely going to get more evident, like there's going to be a rift You know what I mean? Like a split where it's going to be evident. Either you in the utopia or you dystopia, you over here. But I think that we are going to be at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? I think because of our ancestors, because of all this information that's been coming out now, and that all the information that we've been learning about, more about our ancestry, truths that have been buried on purpose. Of course, we know these things, but I do think that it is a mix of all of them. But I think it's going to be very evident that it's going to be like a split. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But yes, I never really thought about it either. This is so good. I never like just sat and was like, damn. So thank you. Yeah.
Ivy, I guess I have a quick question. In addition, do you feel, through your explorations, that is it important for us to create a collective Black future, or is our own background or our own identities kind of where we begin that journey for ourselves?
I feel like both have to exist at the same time. As a Black individual, we have to come to an understanding that Blackness is experienced differently for every person because it's different identities, experiences, socio-geographic circumstance. Like everything comes into play in terms of your identity and how you are navigating this world. And so I feel like you have to be conscious of both existing as a Black individual as this world. Yes. Oh yeah, it made me. That question made me look terrible a little bit. Just like, damn, yeah. I feel like yes, but in terms of healing, in terms of collective, like the Black community, we are experiencing Blackness as a whole together. But also at the same time, we have to honor our own individual experiences because our own individual experiences can help transform the future and help. It's just so many layers to it. Just like us trying to be like, oh, Blackness is this narrative is excluding so many other people, like Marsha P. Johnson, how she was on the front lines of police brutality, and how other Black women have been on the front lines of just liberation, of movement, of freedom of existence. However, because of there's narratives of oh, Blackness is only experienced on this level, that a lot of these stories and experiences and identities and people have gone without recognition, without the honor, without us holding them as an ancestor within our community. So I feel like there has to be a balance of both existing at the same time.
I hear you loud.
Yeah. That was I love what you said, Ivy. And also I think too, there needs to be more archivable outlets. You know what I'm saying? Like we need more outlets for our archives. And I growing up from Alabama, and it's just like I think too, as for a lot of Black people as well, a lot of Blacks don't be checking for their ancestors. They don't be checking for, I need to about my past and these things. But I feel like in order to tap in and to really truly be a great creative as well, because Ivy, you can tell that the knowledge that you've acquired, it's oozing out of you. Like it's like just oozing out of you in a good way, and it's repelling you. And I think as Black people, we all need to not be afraid to go there and get in these archives and read and study so that we'll really know. Because being a queer Black man as well, there's a lot of queer people that have not been spoken about. A lot of queer ancestors that have done, we wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with you. We definitely need a queer archive as well.
And to the point of both you guys, which y'all elaborate really well on that. I think even now, like Blackness is on a spectrum, like you said, Ivy. It's like it's not only one story. a bunch of stories, and I don't know, I feel like we see it, but we don't realize it every day. Like, but not even only like an archive, like it needs to be like documented now. Like the storytelling as artists, like we need to have these stories, like we need to be documenting like now and not only the past. And of course, you need to know our past, of course, but now needs to be like, because we're eventually going to be the past. So like how our present is, like this is what needs to be like, you know, written down and told, like, because not everybody's story is different. So I don't know. I think that's what needs to be.
To add to your point, just like going on further, just like as Black folk, we are natural archivists. We are natural like documentarians. We like, and the things that we collect, like we naturally recycle. We naturally is engaging with community, and we sometimes are not aware of it. Like as simple as like a photo on your phone, Instagram, Facebook, and such like that. It comes now at like, well, we are documenting the present, like what's happened presently. Also, at the same time, like there is a conversation made for another day, like how our documentation is also used against us. I like doing the uprisings of 2020 and like a lot of documentation that was taken of the vast movements that was across the country was used by the police to target us and like hunt us down. So like it becomes a dialogue, like a conversation of like, how can we document and like preserve our present moment without also like away from white hands, away from white gaze, in which they can use what we are like trying to like preserve our history against us. We are seeing how like AP African American history is trying to be taken out. I was just like, type the 10 minute history. We built this country.
Listen, yes, Texas is trying to like wipe it out. Texas.
Yes, Florida, they take me from like the college level, the like high school, middle school, like we are under constant surveillance and constant like gaze. And so it's one hand, like for me trying, like the reason I went into using the digital space and installation, documentary, trying to blur all these things together. I'm just like, you're not gonna beat me. I'm gonna beat you first before you come and beat me. And just like trying to interweave all these elements of storytelling. Like as Black people, we are like naturally like storytellers through like the cooking. We cook like the things that we cook have so much history to it. The things that we sew, the things that we wear, like our hair, just so many aspects of it. It's like us archiving our history goes beyond like the photograph, goes beyond like the 2D. It's the things like, I keep this on my desk. It's like remind me of my grandmother. It's like roses and chamomile that have been dried up. And that is like one way I have like archived like my grandmother's garden. And it's like other things and trinkets of that, just like trying to create space where beyond the surveillance of white people, basically.
This is like a rough draft thought, but it made me wonder if like this direction we're going in terms of like moving past the 2D and beyond just like what you were saying, I guess, and having these physical archives, almost moving backwards. It feels kind of like the idea of Sankofa, where it's like our histories, our legacies were shared person to person and we're passed down that way. I feel like an oral tradition, and it almost makes me wonder if we are heading that way again as a way to like move away from the white gaze and away from like the spectacle of our being. That's something that I thought about while you were speaking.
Yes, to everything you said, yes.
I love that. So
I just got one last small.
Quick. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it won't take long. Based off of that last point, and I'll just use the example of a scenario of my mom teaching me a recipe of like, just cooking like a meal. It's really just classical Southern fried fish. Like who don't want that cooked the right way? So these recipes are not written down. However, I know what to do now. because she verbally told me what to do, just the right amount of time within some trial and errors. Now, smoke alarm go off a few times, whatever, but we got that recipe down. And just imagine that in like other areas of like our lineages and like cultural traditions. So I'm just using that as an example. So maybe it's going into more of like an exclusive, but you know, it's better than nothing at all for sure. That's all I
Yeah.
gotta say, you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnell. Thank you, everybody. This was great. I love it when a simple question can like branch off and everybody gets into more of a dialogue rather than just like an interview style thing. So a couple closing questions. So Ivy, what should every member of our community know about this topic?
Pretty much, like, I feel like everybody have bases on it a little bit in our conversation, and but like to just summarize again, like, we Black people, we are multidimensional. We Black women have been on the front lines since forever of creating the future for Black folk. And we like there should be more recognition, more honor in terms of that. We are like not confined as we were told to be, the Afrofuture is consistently being created through our ancestors, our elders, and those who are we are in community with, whether we know it or not, subconsciously and consciously. In this respecting our present ourselves, acknowledging a future, we have to respect and give recognition and honor to Black women. And so in terms of the Afrofuture cannot be in existence without Black women. And so, yes, that's pretty much the Afrofuture is dependent upon Black women. And we should, again, give recognition, honor, space, and give space for Black women to rest as well, because we are fucking tired of always being right, especially these last couple of elections about the people, that they keep electing, but I don't know, just Black women are on the front lines of molding Afrofuture and have been so since before colonization.
Great, thank you. And you kind of already answered my second question about what things people can do, but do you have any examples of where people can go to learn more about this, things people can read, stuff like that? And then also, once you're done sharing that, you can share where people can learn more about you and anything else you'd like to plug.
Yes, I'm gonna drop a couple of links. The first link I am going to drop and is called From Reflection to Release: Framework for Values, Ethics, and Accountability in Nonfiction Filmmaking. Pretty much, this is a book that was produced by the Documentary Accountability Working Group, in which how to engage a community in documentation with ethics, because a lot of people try to document Black existence and Black bodies and Black individuals without considering how they are moving and navigating spaces. So this is one resource. Another resource in terms of virtual reality, a lot of my work, I wrote a manifesto last year, and in that manifesto is pretty much I wrote commandments of how to create the Black future with Black women in mind. And so in terms of virtual reality and such like that, I spoke of taking up as much space as possible, but also trying to create artwork that is accessible outside of an institution space. And so in terms of when I was creating my work, I was an MFA student at Duke. And I'm just once I graduate from here, you're going to take my work and my people can't access this work. And so that was a problem for me. And so I used Mozilla Hubs as one website in which you could create virtual worlds. And so with that, I created virtual worlds where I put an archive and built the virtual world around it. With Hubs Mozilla, you can use Oculus goggles, you can do it online. I'm gonna also drop in my individual link to my website where you can access more VR, AR work, but also some documentary and more documentary and Afrofuturistic work. Also, yeah, just starting off like, oh, just maybe writing down that recipe that your grandmother has told you. Just listening to your elders, just being in community with other people and just listening to your stories. And you can ask like eventually, like, do you mind if I just record this? We can like discuss how we want to like how you want it to be stored, how you want to be presented. If you don't want to be presented at all, just in terms of just listening and being in community pretty much with people. Yes, I hope I answered your question. Oh, YouTube is also a great resource. I learned a lot of my VR stuff from YouTube. And so yes, yeah.
All right, thank you. Yeah, this is a lot, some great resources. For the audience, we're going to copy all of the links that Ivy sent, and then we'll put them, in the description for like YouTube and whatever platforms we put it on, so you'll have access to that as well. So thank you so much, Ivy. Thank you so much to our lovely actors. Thank you to Kira, who is recording this, our sound designer. Thank you to Denna for putting all of this together. Thank you, Tim, for being here with me and also for being part of the BRTW family. And where you can reach us at thebrtw.org. You can reach us on Facebook, Black Revolutionary Theater Workshop. Theater is spelled with an R-E. You can look us up on Twitter, Instagram. We're either there at the BRTW or a full name, Black Revolutionary Theater Workshop. And yeah, there's also a donation page on our website. So if you feel like tossing us a couple bucks, so we can continue to bring this programming to you, free or at sliding scale, we would love that. So thank you all, and have a good Melanated Monday.
Hey,
Bye.
you guys, thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.